The sandwich cost her everything, but it gave him a future worth 47 million. Victoria Hayes was 9 years old. She learned early that hunger had a sound. It was quiet. It lived in the stomach. It whispered at night, and it never cried loud enough for adults to hear. Her apartment smelled like boiled rice and old paint. The radiator knocked like it was tired of trying. The windows leaked cold air. Winter lived inside their home even when the heater worked. Her grandmother woke before sunrise, wrapped her head in a scarf, and whispered prayers while cooking oatmeal. She always said the same thing: "We do not have much, but what we have we share." Victoria believed that like law, like gravity, like truth, school lunch was not a treat. It was survival. A peanut butter sandwich, an apple, a small box of juice. She never complained. She never asked for more. She ate slowly to make it last. That winter morning she noticed him, a boy outside the fence, white, thin. Standing still like moving would waste energy. Other children laughed. Some pointed. Someone said he was creepy. Victoria felt something twist inside her chest. He was not creepy. He was empty. His jacket was too big. His shoes were broken. His hands shook. He watched the children eat, not begging, not speaking, just watching. A teacher noticed, told him to leave. He tried. His legs failed him. Victoria stood frozen. Her lunchbox felt heavier than ever. Her friend tugged her arm. "Come on." Victoria did not move. Her grandmother's voice echoed in her head. "We share what we have." She walked to the fence. The boy looked up. His eyes were dull, like someone already halfway gone. She opened her lunchbox, pushed it through the fence. "Take it." The boy stared, as if it were a trick. "It is okay," she said. He grabbed the sandwich, ate it fast, too fast. Tears ran down his face, not from pain, from relief. He drank the juice, crushed the box, held it like proof. "Thank you," he whispered. "What is your name?" "Isaiah." She smiled. "I am Victoria." The bell rang. She ran inside, but she looked back 3 times. That night her stomach hurt. She drank water and went to bed early. The next morning she packed the same lunch and gave it away again and again and again. Days turned into weeks. Winter came hard. Snow covered the streets. Isaiah still came, thinner, sicker, but alive. Victoria gave him her gloves, her scarf, her father's old jacket. She lied and said she had extras. She did not. Her hands cracked. Her lips bled. But Isaiah smiled more. They talked through the fence, about books, about dreams, about nothing. She told him he was smart. He did not believe her. She told him he mattered. He almost cried. 6 months, 120 days. One child fed another child. Well, the world looked away. Then one day, Isaiah did not come. Victoria waited, lunch untouched. The next day, a teacher told her he was taken into care. Victoria cried in the bathroom, silent, so no one would hear. On the last day, he came back. He looked cleaner, still scared. "I have to go," he said. She gave him everything in her lunchbox. He promised, "When I am rich, I will find you and marry you." She laughed, tied half her red ribbon around his wrist. She kept the other half. 22 years passed. Isaiah Mitchell learned early that hunger does not fade. It hides. Even when the stomach is full, even when the bank account grows, hunger stays in the memory. After he left the fence, after the foster van took him away, he did not cry. He held the ribbon on his wrist and stared out the window, watching the school disappear. The foster home smelled like bleach and rules. No warmth, no laughter. They gave him food, but no kindness. He learned to eat fast, in case it was taken. At night, he touched the ribbon and whispered a name, Victoria. He was moved again and again. 5 homes, 7 schools. Some were kind, most were not. One man locked the fridge, another called him stupid. Isaiah stopped speaking, stopped trusting, but he never stopped remembering. When he turned 13, he started working. Paper routes, car washes, anything. He saved every dollar, not for toys, not for clothes, for escape. At 16, he ran, lived in shelters, on couches, in libraries. He studied there, read business books, math books, anything that made sense. He graduated high school early. College was loans, jobs, no sleep. He ate ramen, skipped meals, worked nights when others partied. He worked when others rested. He planned. The ribbon stayed with him, faded, fragile. When he signed his first big contract, he touched it. When he bought his first car, he touched it. When he failed, he held it tighter. At 28, his first company sold. Millions. People clapped, celebrated. Isaiah felt nothing because the promise was unfinished. He returned to Chicago. He searched school records, housing lists, social workers. Victoria Hayes, nothing. He hired investigators, paid more, waited. Years passed. His wealth grew. Buildings rose, but every success tasted empty. Meanwhile, Victoria grew into the woman she was meant to be. She studied social work because she remembered the boy. She worked with homeless youth because she knew hunger. She lived simply, earned little, but slept with peace. She kept the ribbon inside a locket close to her heart. She never told anyone why. She wondered if he lived, if he ate, if he survived winter. She never married. Some promises do not fade. Then one night, a community meeting. 2 lives, 2 paths, 1 room. Neither knew. They were seconds away. The room was small. Folded chairs, fluorescent lights, coffee gone cold. Isaiah sat in the back, suit perfectly pressed, eyes tired. He did not belong there, and yet he did. Victoria stood at the front, explaining a program, her voice calm, steady. Isaiah stopped breathing, not because he recognized her face, but because his chest tightened, the way it only did in memory. Something old stirred. She lifted her wrist to gesture. The ribbon fell from her sleeve. Time collapsed. Isaiah stood without knowing why. The chair scraped loudly. Heads turned. Victoria looked at him. Her eyes met his, and the world narrowed. She saw the wrist, the faded ribbon. Her breath caught. For a moment, neither moved. Years, pain, distance, gone. Isaiah whispered her name. Barely sound. Victoria felt the room spin. She stepped forward slowly, as if approaching a dream. You survived. That was all she said. Isaiah nodded. His hands shook. They sat outside afterward, on concrete steps. Night air heavy. They spoke in fragments. Foster homes, shelters, jobs, loneliness. They laughed, then cried. No one asked why. They met again and again. Coffee, walks, silence. Healing is quiet. Isaiah funded her program, not as charity, but as partnership. They rebuilt trust, brick by brick. For the first time, Isaiah slept without fear. For the first time, Victoria released guilt. They were no longer children, but the promise lived. One night Isaiah asked, "Why did you keep the ribbon?" Victoria answered, "Because some people save your life without staying." Isaiah held it, both ribbons together, and understood. The promise was never about rescue. It was about remembering. The city moved around them. Cars, lights, noise. but Isaiah and Victoria walked slowly, as if the world might disappear again. They did not rush. They had already waited 22 years. They talked about everything and nothing. About childhood, about fear, about how kindness can change a life. Isaiah told her the truth, that he built everything to feel safe. That money was armor, not joy. Victoria listened, never interrupting. She told him about exhaustion, about choosing service over comfort, about loving people who never say thank you. They understood each other. One evening, they returned to the school. The fence still stood, paint chipped, rust visible. Children laughed inside. Isaiah stood where he once starved. Victoria stood where she once gave. Neither spoke. Isaiah placed a bench nearby. No plaque, no name, just a place to sit. Months passed. They worked together, built housing, protected families. Isaiah learned how to rest. Victoria learned how to receive. Love did not arrive loudly. It arrived like sunrise. One night Isaiah removed the ribbon. Carefully, he tied both halves together, not to promise wealth, not to promise marriage, but to promise presence. Victoria cried, not because of romance, but because she was no longer alone. The sandwich had cost her everything at the time, but it gave him a future. And together, they gave many others one too. Some stories end with weddings. This one ended with something rarer. To people who never forgot what it means to see someone